Hello there, welcome to Conflict News 2042 Israel Palestine War update for you. Important developments of the last 12 hours or so. Firstly, more attacks on US military bases in the Middle East in the last 24 hours. Around 4 attacks so far on 4 different bases. 3 attacks confirmed, fourth one unconfirmed. So US military interests in the Middle East are being targeted. Secondly, northern border of Israel, Israel-Lebanon border becoming hotter now. Hamas is involved there too on this border. Thirdly, US today sent another plane carrying supplies for Israeli military. Videos have been published showing the military support being given by US to Israeli forces. So fourthly, Israeli embassies in the Middle East are being vacated by Israel. Why? Fifthly, Yoav Gallant, Israeli defense minister, today again spoke about entry into Gaza. Meanwhile, Israeli military operation in West Bank continues, where hundreds have been arrested. Drone strikes reported as well. Firstly, let's start from attacks on US military bases in the Middle East. It seems that pro-Iran, pro-Palestine groups in the Middle East have decided to target US military sites in the Middle East. Yesterday, first attack was carried out on a US military base in Iraq. No casualties, no damage, because basically some suicide drones, kamikaze drones were fired towards this airbase, but airbase was heavily protected. The drones were intercepted in the air and destroyed, no damage. And an Iraqi militia claimed responsibility for this attack. It happened in Iraq. Then today, 2 similar attacks on US military bases in Syria. Both in Syria and Iraq, Iran has its presence through its proxies, through the groups which Iran backs. In Syria today, Al-Tanf US military base was hit in southern Syria. Secondly, Kornoko, forward operating base of US military in northern Syria, came under attack. Similar type of attacks, kamikaze drones were fired on both the bases, suicide drones, intercepted reportedly. At a base there was minor damage, some US officials, military officials were injured reportedly. No statement from US, from CENTCOM so far. Fourth attack on a US military base in Middle East is unconfirmed so far. Some sources say that in Al-Abd, Lebanon, US military came under attack, but this report is unconfirmed. So far, 3 attacks on US military bases confirmed in the last 24 hours. A clear signal, a clear message from Iran-backed groups, anti-US, anti-Israel groups in the Middle East, that if war goes on, if war expands, if Gaza is invaded by Israel, US military interests in the Middle East will be hit. Secondly, viewers, Israel-Lebanon border situation getting hotter with every passing day. It seems that now Israel-Lebanon border is a major front. Almost on daily basis, we are seeing guided missiles being fired by Hezbollah fighters from Lebanon, targeting Israeli military sites on Israel-controlled territory. And today, again, guided missiles were fired, and Hezbollah, in a statement, confirmed attacks on an Israeli military outpost in Israel-controlled territory in Kiryat Shimona. Israel also confirmed the firing of guided missiles from Lebanese territory, and Israeli Defense Force then retaliated. Artillery strikes were conducted. Last night, some strikes, drone strikes were also conducted by Israeli military on Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Meanwhile, Hamas issued a statement today confirming an attack on Israel from Lebanon. Hamas has its presence there, and it fired dozens of rockets from Lebanon into Israel controlled territory on Israel-Lebanon border. And Israeli military confirmed this attack. Most of the rockets were intercepted in the air. So Hamas is operating not only in Gaza but also in Lebanon. Today Hamas confirmed rocket attacks from Lebanon. I think today Israel-Lebanon border was busier front than Gaza front. Strikes ongoing on Gaza. Hamas claimed to have fired an ATGM anti-tank guided missile to the east of Khan Yunis, hitting a tank, though no visual confirmation so far. But today main front was Israel-Lebanon border, where both sides have been involved in exchange of gunfire, which is being shown live to by several sources. So if the war goes on, especially if the war escalates, if Israeli military enters Gaza, you will see more escalation on Israel-Lebanon border. Meanwhile, US has told all its citizens in Lebanon to leave immediately, and US citizens are advised against all travel to Lebanon, not just US, Australia, Germany, Saudi Arabia, UK have also told their citizens to leave Lebanon, and that their citizens should not travel to Lebanon. So Lebanon could be a battleground in coming days, because if Gaza is invaded and Hezbollah decides to launch a big offensive from Lebanon, obviously the military will hit back. They will conduct airstrikes, drone strikes, ground invasion of Lebanon maybe. So Lebanon could be part of the war. That is why foreign nationals are being told to leave Lebanon. Thirdly, US military support for Israel continuing. Israel, by the way, does not need US military support. It is well equipped to counter Hamas. But still, US is sending military support for Israeli forces. Top US leaders visiting Israel: Joe Biden here, Lloyd Austin visited, Antony Blinken visited. Several planes have landed in Israel so far carrying weapons, military aid for Israeli forces. A video has been published by Israeli government showing a US transport military plane landing in Israel carrying some armored vehicles for Israeli military. So US is giving all types of military support, munitions, weapons to Israeli forces. Israel is self-sufficient, but still it wants US military support. It wants to keep US involved in this war. It does not want US to be at a distance, because it knows that if US isolates itself from the war, Middle Eastern countries will corner Israel. Israel, if it has managed to survive in the Middle East, it is because of support from US and Western countries. We're seeing the support continue for Israel. Fourthly, Israel is evacuating its embassies in the Middle East. From several countries of the Middle East, Israel has evacuated its diplomats. And we know that some Arab countries have diplomatic relations with Israel. The Israeli embassies are operating, but diplomatic staff is being evacuated from these embassies. These embassies include Israeli embassy in Egypt, in Jordan, Turkey, reportedly in Morocco too. Reportedly in these countries, Israeli diplomats have been seen leaving their embassy. It means that Israel is not planning to end the war. It is expecting bigger Middle Eastern response in case of ground invasion of Gaza. That is why Israeli diplomats across the Middle East are being evacuated. Lastly, viewers, West Bank is target of ground operations being conducted by Israeli military. West Bank has not joined this war so far, though Hamas has been calling, PIG has been calling upon the people of West Bank and East Jerusalem to join in. People of West Bank, Jerusalem protesting, but they have not been involved in direct escalation in exchange of gunfire with Israeli military. A few incidents happened, but mainly no military escalation. Meanwhile, some drone strikes have been conducted on some targets in West Bank a few hours ago by Israeli military. Israeli military wants to ensure that groups in West Bank and Gaza don't join hands with Hamas. West Bank and East Jerusalem, they don't join hands with Hamas, the groups which are based in Gaza. Yoav Gallant, Israeli defense minister, was seen today addressing Israeli soldiers close to Gaza border. He was heard saying that today you are seeing Gaza from afar, but you will see it from inside. Wait for the orders. Orders can be given anytime. And tonight, a key meeting of Israeli cabinet is going to be held. Benjamin Netanyahu is going to preside over this meeting. Key decisions expected. It is being said by Israeli military officials that green light has been shown about ground offensive on Gaza. So anytime after preparations have been completed, Israeli military will enter Gaza. What will happen after that? No one knows. Let's see how the region responds to Gaza's invasion. Meanwhile, people of Gaza are still suffering. Rafah border crossing is closed. Egypt wants to open the border crossing to deliver aid to the people of Gaza. UN aid convoys are waiting for permission from Israel, waiting for permission in Egypt on Rafah border crossing to enter Gaza. Israel is not allowing the entry of aid into Gaza. Egypt is requesting Israel. Tomorrow there could be limited entry of aid, humanitarian aid from Egypt through Rafah into Gaza reportedly. Joe Biden, when he visited Israel around 24 hours ago, he said that Israel had agreed that it would allow entry of humanitarian aid into Gaza from Egypt. Let's see, will the Israel abide by its, will it honor its commitment? We'll see in coming hours. So far, 8 convoys are waiting on Gaza border in Egypt. Thank you for watching.